What's up, everyone? Oh, I need to get into my comments here.
Hello, everybody. I am going over here to the show link on Amazon. Jeez, I do too much book stuff on Facebook, and I'm sharing it.
Facebook, yes.
You go do that now. Share it, tag people, like it, send pigeons out with messages tied to their feet about it. It doesn't matter. Just let everybody know. I'm going to go on there and tag people.
I can't even write back to my sister's. Unfortunately, my sister Kayla has ended up in Facebook jail for the next 3 days. So yeah, I don't even want to know why. So she is watching, but she cannot comment apparently. So she's watching. Oh, there we go. I'm just gonna write her back. So don't forget to like and share the video. So it is Thursday again. Oh, hello to my grandmother. My Aunt Valerie is here. Hi, Brian and Dan.
Howdy.
Bring that up. I forget that I can put the comments up here to make them bigger. So yeah, we got some tagging going on. Hopefully, yeah. My other aunt, welcome. My Aunt Steph. So, yeah. So anyways, I had a busy week with work. It's been very stressful, tiring. I've been working 6 days. So it's a little rough. But yeah, it's Thursday. So
we're here.
That's right. I get excited when it's Thursdays because it's showtime. So, and people are used to it. So I might as well keep going with it. And yeah, so, and now you're on. So it's going to be even more, what's the word I want to use? More enjoyable? I was going to say more better, but that doesn't sound right.
It works.
Yeah. So how was your week? Anything interesting happen with you?
Well, I had yet again another dental emergency hit, and I almost couldn't make it tonight because I was at the dentist yesterday getting work done, and yesterday afterwards, it was one of the most painful recoveries I'd had so far of all the different things that have been going on. But today I woke up, I was fine. So I was like, yay, I can do this. But other than that, I set up my editor, my last editor for the owl-headed wand, and sounds like she's going to do a great job. She sent me a sample edit, really good. Now I just got to sit and wait. That's one of the hardest parts in being an author, especially at this stage of the game, is you get your stuff ready and then you hand it off to people to edit and proofread and all that. And they got to take their time. You want them to take their time, but you're sitting there and you've handed off your entire manuscript over to them and you get to wait a couple months. So it's like you're not twiddling your thumbs. You work on other stuff. You write other stuff. Like tonight, I'm going to be reading on a little bit of a book that I've worked on, which Brian already announced. It's a next Earth's Last Starship sequel. But you work on more stuff. But this is my one in progress. This is the one that once it comes back to me, I'm working on it. I'm promoting it. I'm looking at finding an agent for it. But I have all the stuff I want to do. I gotta wait. So that hurry up and wait is really hard. All authors have to deal with that.
Oh boy. Yeah, sometimes it's no fun, but the end result is what you're going for, so it's worth it. Yes. I don't think that I that's probably why I don't really write myself. I don't have the patience. I wouldn't have the patience to be waiting for the editing to get done, and then hope that it's picked up or whatnot or what people think of it. I couldn't wait.
Yeah, it's in writing. What I found for a lot of people that want to write a story, but they just don't have the passion to do it, is it's also like giving yourself homework for a long time because you've got to work every day on that story, write that story, and then edit that story. And I mean, it's a lot of work. And if you don't put those days in, if you stop, it's like homework. Your mind's going, oh, I can't wait to finish that story. And yet you're also thinking, but I got to go write it. I hear a lot of that. But for me, it's my passion. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited because you're going to read a little teaser, a little tidbit from the next story of Earth's Last Starship. And if people don't remember, Earth's Last Starship was the book where many people were written in as characters that Daniel came out with. So, which was fantastic. Well, they all have been, but I like that one. I gravitate towards that one only because, I'm the main character. So, well, actually, I'm the main character in most of them, actually.
Yeah.
So,
quite a few stories that have you and you, but and a lot of people, which is fun. I love doing that. It's a lot of fun doing that. But also, I know that you have a more lean towards science fiction than fantasy.
yes, that is true.
Which is fine.
That
I
is
have
true.
a friend here who absolutely adores my books. He's read them multiple times, and it took him forever to decide to pick up Earth's Last Starship or Remnant because he just likes fantasy.
Right.
But during the COVID time, he was like, "I have nothing to read, and I read your book so many times. Do you have anything else?" I'm like, "All I've got is science fiction." He's like, "Okay, I'll take it." So,
Yeah.
and he read them and he loved them. So I was like, "Yeah,
Good. Good.
story."
I'm excited. I'm super, super excited. And again, I can't wait because I want to have it, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to read it.
Yeah. And what I'm reading tonight is going to be just the first opening part of the book. So you're going to get to see the opening, exciting intro. However, it's not been really edited that much. It's not gone through a lot of processing. So what I'm going to read to you tonight is going to sound different a little, not like major, but a little different than the actual written one when it's done, because it's going to have some, words moved here and there, slight changes to it. This is truly, you're getting to hear what came out of my head to begin with. So.
Right.
But the story will pretty much stay the exact same. It's just going to be, read a little cleaner when it's in print. And I can't wait either. I've got a lot of people who really like the Earth's Last Starship. The Earth's Last Starship audiobook is probably my most popular. I get a lot of people who pick up that one and listen to it. They love the audiobook on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a good job because I own both. I don't have any hard copies because I kind of gave them all away, I think. No, that's not true. I think I have one, but I also have it digitally, and I did buy the audio version. So, yeah, I was impressed. It was good.
So I'm looking forward to that. And again, one of the fun things about this is I introduced some newer people into the storyline of real people, including the publisher, Braxton Cosby, because he loves Earth's Last Starship of my books the most. It's his favorite. And so I'm like, he loves it so much, I might as well bring him into the story. And I had the perfect opening because one of the main characters drops out of at the end of the first story. So there's an opening for a main character position, and I have someone I want to put there. So he liked that. And I think one of the fun things, and you're going to hear this tonight, one of the fun reasons why I like to put people in the story is because I get to, how should I put it, mess with them. Put them in uncomfortable situations, or make have a little fun at their expense, but not too far. But Braxton has a scene in this book, which I'm not reading tonight, but has a scene in this book that is, I think, hilarious. And it has to do with a big party in the courtroom of the Fanglerians, which are Fangs people. And it's just funny. So I can't wait for the book to come out. I can't wait for him to hear, because I want to hear when he gets to that scene, because I know when he reads it, he's going to be contacting me going, "Dan, why'd you do that to me?" And I'll be like, "Because it's hilarious. That's why."
Oh, see, now I'm really going to want to read it when it comes out. So,
well,
I can't wait.
I'll be using you as a beta reader, which beta readers are kind of like the pre-publishing readers. They read the story, and oftentimes they're there to help. Like if there's one tiny little plot hole somewhere, or some missing description, they pick it up. But also, it's for people like you. I want to see the story before it goes live. So
I've done that for you before, haven't I?
Yep.
Yes, I have. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fortunate enough to read it, before everyone else. So I gave a review too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
There's actually a thing in publishing called ARC readers, Advanced Reader Copy, ARC. ARC readers are people you give a manuscript to before it's published, and oftentimes they're bloggers, they're journalists, they're people who are they write editorials and write reviews for newspapers, blogs, and stuff like that. And so you give them an early copy before it's published so that the day it comes out, or even before, you've got stuff to put out there and say, um, this book is really good. And so from New York Times says this book is going to be an excellent read for sci fi fans, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also small time. There's people who do it that not quite that famous, but they help when the book comes out on Amazon. Day one, they've already got 10 reviews posted for it, and they're saying they read the book, and they legitimately have read the book. Now Amazon gets sticky about it because if you give a review that early, they're going to say you didn't buy this book, so you have to put on there I was an ARC reader of this book, or I received an advanced copy for this review, that kind of stuff. So
Right.
Amazon's
Yeah.
little algorithm doesn't get in a snit about it.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Ashley and Amber have joined in, and Chris Evans, my friend from Heroes Rising, is on.
Chris
Hello, everybody.
Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans.
I have a funny story about Chris Evans. When I first started playing Heroes Rising and really working with it, I would get friend requests. People who are part of the game who want to do stuff. Well, I get this friend request from Chris Evans. My brain says, "Oh, look, some scammer is using a famous person's name to try and get my attention." And so I turned him down a couple times, and finally I saw him posting stuff in the Heroes Rising Facebook page. And I was like, "Oh wait, that's that Chris Evans guy." And I clicked on his profile. Oh, that's really his name.
Mm-hmm.
So I dismissed you, Chris, as a fake account early on because of your name resembling the famous name of an actor.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Chris here has been chugging along with me. Both of us actually. He'd be watching me on Thursdays, and then would tune into you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to know if Chris has continued writing anything.
I don't know. He hasn't said anything to me.
Yeah.
He helps write a few things on the Heroes Rising stuff, but he actually kind of works for me because in Heroes Rising, one of my jobs is to oversee the player content, which we have players selected to write news articles that are kind of like in the game story, like they're reporters inside the game reporting on the events, and he's one of them, and he does a lot of work for that. But I don't know, the story he started for you, I don't know if he's worked on that. He needs to. He definitely needs to.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, really, really digged what I read. So that really needs to continue. So Chris, get writing, will you? So yeah. Oh my lord. I used to get other people as well. I don't know. I used to get more people that watch you too. They usually would pop on and say hello. Hopefully they join us at some point here.
Well, I admit I forgot to post an announcement today about this show, and usually I do, but today was the release of a special event I had been working on for 2 months for Heroes Rising. And today was the big drop day. And to make it matter just more complicated, the game designer, the head game designer for Heroes Rising, went on vacation yesterday.
Oh,
We had stuff set up, but that fell a little bit on myself and one of the other programmers to make sure things were working. I mean, if we absolutely need to, we get a hold of him, and he would definitely be able to help. Computers work everywhere, but it was more just making sure it got done right. So I I thought about it late, and I was like, oh gosh, I forgot to tell people that tonight's the show.
it's all right. We both have been busy today, so yeah. I apologize. Normally, yep. The show is usually at 8:00. I just couldn't do it at 8:00. So I did it at 9. So it's been a while since I've done a 9:00 show. So yeah. All right. So I can't wait any longer. And I'm going to have you now, hopefully, read the little tidbit, the teaser for the next book, folks.
Mm-hmm. So I'll introduce this. This is the first chapter, really, of the book, but it's a short kind of intro. And in writing, and you'll see this in a lot of books, in writing, you like to open a scene of a book with something exciting, a hook, something to get people's interest. So I decided to go with that. And I had fun with this one. And so we enter the story as Brian and the crew of the New Orlando are out on a mission. So I will start reading chapter 1. This book is still, and I say tentatively titled, but most likely titled Earth's Last Starfleet. And I'm not going to tell you why, but that title is very important to the overall story of this book. So we start with chapter 1, just titled Exploring. Heat beat down from the binary suns above. Captain Brian Shepard, in nothing but a loincloth, jumped from one pillar to another. He perched himself as best he could on top while holding a spear in one hand. A razor-sharp disc flew at him, and he hit it away with the spear. Then he threw with all his might. A man on the other side dodged and threw, allowing the spear to stick into the wooden pillar. This opponent yanked it out and then ran for Brian. Ah! Brian jumped from pillar to pillar and then heard the man behind him make a loud grunt. The spear had been thrown. He did all he could. He purposely dropped down between the pillars and let the spear fly by him. Don't hide, little human! The brutish blue muscle-bound man yelled and then made perfect leaps across 3 and 4 of the pillars at once. I gotta get out of here! Brian slid through the pillars, moving with the most speed he could muster with the dense forest. Come, fight! Don't be a coward! Like hell! Brian yelled and made it to the outside of the pillars. He stood next to a yellow line on the ground. Okay, I have to think strategically if I'm going to make it out of this. Yah! The blue man's shadow came over Brian. Brian took a step back and his foot met that yellow boundary. A loud buzzer sounded and the blue man merely tumbled to his knees, stopping directly in front of Brian. The field of pillars vanished, leaving a yellow rectangular box. A stand filled with blue people and a line of crew members from the Orlando applauded. The blue man laughed heartily as he rose to his feet. He stuck a hand out and helped Brian up. You fight well for such a small creature. Brian stood next to this man, his forehead at the man's chest. Well, we aren't Glortians. Humans are an average of 6 feet or so. Feet? I only see 2 feet. The man frowned. Brian said, oh, sorry, the translators screwed that one up. Feet is an ancient method of measuring height, about 2 meters. The universal translator changed that into the proper measurement for this blue person. Ha ha ha! That is short, but you are tall with honor, Captain Brian of Orlando. Come, you fight well. Let us towel off and accept the cheers of the crowds. With a deep reluctance, Brian followed this well-toned Glortian champion to the center of the now empty arena. A pair of pretty Glortian women approached with towels and then began rubbing them down in front of the crowds. The women rubbing on Brian had to lean over and then eventually got down to their knees. Shen, the Glortian, held out his arms and even flexed his muscles for the people. Brian grabbed an extra towel from the girl and wrapped himself. You're a funny little man. The way you show such fear to the fake weapons. They would not harm you. To jump down to the ground among the trial pillars is more dangerous. Let's just say I'm not accustomed to having sharp objects thrown at me. I forgot they were holographic. Another Glortian joined them, an elderly man walking by use of a cane. Good show, Captain Brian. Good show. We are honored to have the hero who defeated Takan here. Come, put on attire, and join the council for the official signing of the treaty. It's almost time. Come, come. The old man walked away. Brian followed his former opponent toward the locker room. Captain! Heather waved at him from the side of the stands. Brian walked over, folding his arms across his bare chest. Yes? There was an effort to hold back the snickering as she said, That was A good performance. Go ahead, laugh. I was just being polite and accepting this offer to participate. He stopped his mature response and then growled, Okay, you can stop laughing. Chris came over. Nice fight. You ain't gonna go too many rounds with that tank out there, but you did good. The Glortian women who had been toweling Brian off stopped and handed him another towel. She giggled and then rushed away. He immediately started rubbing his upper body. Chris said, I ain't gonna jump in that ring, but boy, getting toweled from one of those cuties might be nice. Ow! Heather had elbowed him. You're such a pig, she muttered. Brian laughed at them. You know she isn't flirting. She's just a fan. Sure, but still fun to look at. Right now, I'm tired of being out in the sun. Suns, Chris corrected him. Yeah, both of them are cooking me alive. I'm going to get dressed and make a final arrangement with the ambassador. Are you guys going to come and help me get this ready? Heather waved a hand at her face. I'm going to find some water and shade. I'll join you later. What about you? Brian asked Chris. I'm going to stay out here and watch another match. Next one's supposed to be a real humdinger. Brian looked back at the arena to see the next contestants getting ready. A pair of barely dressed female Glortians. Oh, I see. Well, stay in the shade and watch your drooling. You can't waste water on this world. Chris scoffed at him and left to find his VIP seat. A small starship dropped out of hyperlight near a green and blue planet. Massive chunks of metallic debris hung in space. Huge sections of old ships floated by, each at least twice the size of this small craft. On the bridge of the small ship, a human captain watched the planet come into view as they passed a large section of debris. Trella, what is this all from? A Soreth at the helm, and with commander insignia on her uniform, answered. This is the last remnant of the observation station in orbit of our homeworld. Tolkon kept a close watch on our planet. But it was evacuated. No one was left after your people fled to Earth. She sneered as she answered. They lusted after that weapon so much that they placed a huge observation post here to make sure if the weapon was ever returned, they would get to it before it was put back into service. What happened to the post? Trella navigated them around another random bit of debris. The retaliation last year by the rebels, they attacked every remaining Tolkon stronghold. This post was destroyed. I guess they had reason to be angry. Well, we aren't here to investigate mine or other booby trap left by the rebels. The helm isn't responding. We're drifting toward the planet. What? What kind of weapon did we hit? The ship rattled again, and there was a new light on the screen. A point of yellow light appeared just over the planet's surface. It was joined by a radiant glow around the whole planet. The captain stood up. What the hell is that? Some kind of drone? Is this the booby trap? Trella's hands trembled. No, this can't be. We have to get away. She fought the controls. What's the matter? Trella said. It's here. He's returned. That light grew brighter and the ship buzzed. Lights flickered and a loud noise echoed around them. The captain said, Communications, send a distress signal. I can't. There's an interference. Helm, do something. Trella had lost all of her color. It's too late. They watched as a wave of energy spread out and all the debris evaporated. Then their ship grew translucent. They could see the stars through the bulkheads. With no time to do anything about this, they faded into nothing. And that is the really half of the chapter.
Oh boy.
So
that's a lot in just one chapter.
Well, I kind of hear.
A delay?
Yeah, I can hear my voice coming through your thing. That's better now. Okay, don't know what was doing that.
Okay.
That was weird. Yeah, that's actually not even the full first chapter, but it does introduce, and this isn't really spoiling the story. The first part of the book gives you what really the crew has been doing since the end of the last book and into the beginning of this one. lots and lots of diplomacy. All these worlds that were either part of the Tolkonian Empire or just not connected to Earth are all now wanting to make connections with Earth and build relationship. And so, being the heroes they are, the crew of the Orlando keeps getting sent out basically as the celebrities. The ambassador signs the treaties, but they get to show off and all, shake hands and all that. So, and as you can imagine, and again, I'm not too much spoiler here. As you can imagine, the crew and especially Brian get a little tired of this role as basically, camera fodder. They're just
Yeah.
waving the cameras and playing happy games with people. They want to explore space. That's what they joined the Space Navy for.
Right.
At the same time, there is something happening on the old Sorath homeworld, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but someone has returned, and the Sorath have the biggest reason to be afraid.
Oh boy. So I know that you mentioned the new USS Orlando.
Mhm.
Did I get a bigger ship this time? Can you at least tell me that it's this nice, I don't know, like almost the size of the Enterprise D?
Yeah, the new Orlando. I can't. I don't have like a spec in mind of how big it is, but
Oh, you gotta make one. You have to. You need to make one.
I may have to do that. Uh,
Yes.
the the ship is definitely bigger. Is the largest, most powerful ship in the current Earth Space Navy. However, the current Earth Space Navy isn't that big because it was the old Navy was obliterated except for the Orlando, and so the
Mm,
ships that are now out there are the few they were able to build on the surface of the planet over the 10-year period.
right. Yeah.
So, but the Orlando is definitely the biggest, the most impressive one, and
Oh,
it
good.
and this time around, I think I get a little more screen time with it because the ship has more to do. It's more important. And again, as I said, the title of the book plays into that. It's Earth/Starfleet.
Mm.
So it is a very important figure that the ship is in that story. So yes, it's a big, impressive ship.
Good. I can't wait. But yeah, it would be nice to have some sort of drawing, or so that way I can visualize while I'm reading.
I
Uh,
want to. I want to. I'm planning on it, but not me. I'm actually looking. There's some people I know online who are artists who sorry, can't talk. Specifically work in like ships and sci-fi tech and all.
mhm.
I'm good with painting people and creatures, some scenery, but when it comes to like tech and ships and cars, I'm not that great. I don't really do a justifiable job.
Mm,
So I thought I'd ask them to work on it. And yes, I want something because the old ship is supposed to look, and there's actually a picture on the cover of the
mhm.
old ship,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be kind of a rugged. It was an old science special. It was already out of date by the time that what happened in the first book, and then it spends 10 years being the only ship for these people. So it's it was supposed to be kind of run down, small,
Mhm.
unimpressive because that was part of the whole gimmick is that they're not on this super powerful ship in saving Earth. They're on the little pirate tugboat doing their job.
Right.
This one, on the
Yeah.
other hand, this story lends itself to having a big, impressive ship. So I want it to look completely different. I want it to look like something that's new, modern tech. So I am gonna contact friends and see who can come up with a good sketch, and then work from there.
There you go. Very good. Very good. I can't wait for it to come out. Very excited. So we got all these people watching. What's everyone up to? Anyone have any questions for either me or Dan about anything? You know that you can just post them and we'll answer. We can see your comments.
Mm-hmm.
So, how is your show going? You're still continuing your show, which you have one tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay.
It's doing pretty good. We are continuing with the reading of the next Joshua of Egypt story,
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm having fun. This story, as I said, is alternate history fantasy. Uh, to give you a general overview of what that means, the story is set in the ancient times of the Greco-Roman mythological times, which is BC. and the main character, Joshua of Egypt, is destined to slay the bad gods. So all the gods of the ancient world, from Ra and the Egyptian gods to Jupiter and the Roman gods, they're all real. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And so there's a big war on Earth and in the mist realm where the gods live between the two sides, and that's the story. So what I had fun with and what I'm really enjoying in this book, the new one I'm reading right now, has the most in it, is I did a lot of deep research into Greco-Roman mythology so that I could get details relatively accurate about the gods, about their connections, who's married to who, who's children of who, that kind of stuff, and go a little further. So I'm bringing in figures of ancient Greek and Roman mythology that most people don't know about because, it's Hercules and Jupiter and Zeus. They're popular. They're the ones we have in our popular media. But, some of the smaller gods, lesser gods, Phantasos, Somnus, Inyo, these gods most people have never heard of. But it gives me a chance to have some fun researching, which is that's something I love to do. Just love doing.
Absolutely. So Kayla doesn't have any questions, by the way. So she messaged me because once again, we're in Facebook jail, so she can't comment. No, but thank you for asking since I'm jailed. Yeah. Do I even want to know, Kayla, what you did? Actually, you know what? I do want to know. I want to know what you did. So I don't do it. I don't think I've ever been in Facebook jail.
I've never been censored by Facebook for anything like that. No jail time or anything.
I've gotten so every Christmas, Disney. So when I would film for you guys, the parades or a ride or anything like that, I would get flagged by the creators of the music that you would hear in the background. You do not own, the music and blah, blah. I'm like, no kidding. I know that. So I would have to fight it. And I think that I would put that, I understand that I'm not the owner, or, blah, 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 or whatever. So, or it's common or whatever. So, and then I would be able to keep it on there. So, yeah. I think that's about it.
I had a friend who was filming, I can't remember what it was she was filming. It was like the lunar eclipse, or it was something that she could see out her window. Behind her, playing on the television, very distantly, was a soundtrack of something, and she didn't realize her camera picked it up. She posted the video to Facebook. She got pulled. It got pulled. She got a warning because she's trying to use somebody else's music, and she's like, I didn't even realize it was on the stinking video. It took her several days to convince Facebook that she wasn't trying to pirate somebody's music.
Yeah, it would take a couple of hours because I noticed that once that I would post it, like everyone was watching with me, but then for some reason they wouldn't allow me to post. Like I thought I was posting it, then all of a sudden, I'm looking down. I'm like, well, where are the comments and stuff? People aren't saying anything. And then it wasn't there. Then you got a notification. Please review, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, man. But yeah, it would take a couple of hours for them to come back with a decision. So for me, anyways.
Well, Chris Evans asks about Earth/Starship.
Oh, yeah.
Do ships in your universe use a hyperlight type technology or a warp light technology? It's a hyperlight drive is what I call it. To be honest, I haven't really delved into the building of the exact tech of how it works, but it would be more in line with like Star Wars hyperdrive as averse to Star Trek's warp speed. So you slip into hyperdrive, which kind of puts you into a subspace, or whatever you call it, outside normal space. So you're moving faster inside a different layer of space. Whereas in Star Trek, you are just moving at multiples of the speed of light because you're warping space.
Have you ever seen that movie, Spaceballs?
Yes.
That just popped into my head, so I apologize. So, yeah, I'm hoping that my ship has ludicrous speed. That would be nice.
It would be funny, yes.
You're saying hyperlight, and all of a sudden I just see it, that scene in my head. But anyways, okay, what's Ashley saying? So that's good to know, though. because I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't have known the difference between hyperlight and warp cores. So yeah, you got Star Wars and you have Star Trek, which is warp cores. So there's a big difference in the way they travel.
And for me, on a writing aspect of it, in general, science fiction, FTL, faster than light travel, is often required. The nerds of sci-fi really want to know, how does your ship break the law of physics of being able to move faster than light? Well, I'll answer with two things here. One, they don't actually have set in stone the fact that you can't go faster than light now. The astrophysics and quantum mechanics have proven that that's not necessarily true. But getting outside of the crazy astrophysics of this, when you're working in science fiction, it's very common and more acceptable just in general to say you're moving in a wormhole or somewhere in a layer of space. When you warp or do something to make space go faster around you, that's specifically Star Trek. That was invented by Roddenberry, by Star Trek people, and it's not as commonly just in general use in science fiction. So if I put in a warp style travel in my book, people are going to jump right on it and go, "Oh, you just stole that from Star Trek." And I'm like, okay, I can't do that. So if I put in something like Star Wars, that's you across the board. You're going to find that from Babylon 5 to Star Wars to Dune to all these different ones have their voice. How you activate it, that's unique to their universe. But how the traveling works is pretty much a common idea. My book, I really am not diving into the deep tech of, okay, they use this to activate that, then they use this calculation. I don't go there. I'm more interested in the narrative of what the people are doing, the storyline, the problems they're solving. The tech is kind of secondary in my mind because I don't want to bury the reader in lots of technobabble.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That is a good idea.
Patrick calls it, they've gone plaid.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. I remember.
I have a mom who loves everything I do, like science fiction, fantasy, all that. And growing up, when we were driving, and you'd have somebody who would lead foot and go really fast around you, breaking speed limit, and all that, we would holler out, "They've gone plaid!" The whole family. So we're all nerds.
Let's see here. Ashley, you have to say that you do not own the rights to any of the music in the background. Yeah, I know. Protect yourself.
And let me say, and I'm not going to say devil's advocate. I'm going to say proper advocate here. I understand and respect why Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these places have the algorithms to listen and then pick out where people are taking music. Because as an author and creator of content, I protect my copyright as best I can. People try to steal it all the time. I've had now 2 books stolen and published by foreign agents, and have had gone through loops to get them pulled off of Amazon and stuff. So it's a war, and so I don't blame them. I don't say they're oversensitive. They're doing the job. At least to you. And when you say it's obvious, I'm not trying to steal this music for my own use. In fact, where you're recording Disney playing it at their parade. So you're not playing it. You're just watching the parade.
Right. Yeah.
And so at least Facebook and all has the common sense in their workings to say, okay, we agree, and pull off the restriction.
Yeah.
But too many people, if they didn't have that, would be totally ripping off content. My friend Steve Argyle, who does artwork, oh my God, that's the worst one. Artwork is stolen all the time. People go to Google, search a picture. I need a picture of a sexy babe in front of a dragon. They find one of his pictures from Magic the Gathering. They just crop it off of Google, slap it onto a T-shirt, poster, all that, and then go sell it. Happens all the time. He shows it all the time.
Yeah, that's too bad. That is too bad. Yes, Patrick, unless you like that technobabble.
And I agree, Patrick. I do like Star Trek. That's something I liked about Star Trek is I like the fact they do explain to a degree how their tech works. But when you're working with a standalone sci-fi book, there's only so much space before you're burying in the story.
Right.
And I wanted to focus on the story. If I were to take this and turn it into a multi-part series and really grow the universe and all that, world build this a lot more, yes, I would be throwing in lots of technobabble because that's what I do like. But yeah, and the infinite probability drive.
What is HHG?
I know this, and my brain is not recalling it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't catch that right away.
Yeah.
Okay. My brain is mush. It's today is yesterday was my Friday, so by the end of the week I'm done. I can't think anymore. So yeah.
Well, I'll say this for my brain kind of took a hit because my boss for Heroes Rising, we were planning this big event and we had a big meeting on Monday where he's like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna get this set up. We're gonna put together all this stuff ahead of time." And right towards the end of the meeting, now this is like 10 o'clock at night for my time, and stuff has to go live today, Thursday. There's no I'll get stuff done today. No, it's live today. 10 o'clock at night Friday. He's like, "Oh, right, we need to get special power cards made. Can you do 3 pieces of art?" Fortunately for me, I had a few things in the backlog that I had worked on that never used for anything that worked out for this. But I was like, really? 3 pieces of art? I was up till 2 to 3 in the morning just doing art. And the next day I was like, my work isn't braining very well right now.
That's the life, right? So yeah, I know how it is. They
So
just don't want to get sued. What?
Oh.
Oh, we were talking about the thing. Yeah.
The copyright. Yeah, I could go on and on about copyright stuff.
Patrick, Dan, do you participate in Comic Cons? Fantastic question, Patrick.
I was actually just about to mention that. Yeah. I do participate in Comic Cons quite often. I'm a vendor and a speaker, panelist, all the above, talking about writing, talking about my books, talking about science fiction and or fantasy. And so at this point, I'm just about to start setting up my schedule for the fall. I already have one that's guaranteed, and I was hoping Brian could join me in Knoxville in the end of October for the first one. But I have several things coming up, and I love doing Comic Cons. They're so much fun.
Wait, this October?
This October.
In Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have advanced notice. I pretty much have the means. So maybe I'll be able to attend this.
I'll send you dates.
Okay.
And then you can check into it. I have other ones I plan on doing. So a lot of them are there's like Florida, Ohio, all these places that are setting these up, and I'd like to get started on them because I love meeting people who read these books. I love going out there and meeting people doing this. It's just it's so much more fun, to do that. Plus, I also get to meet all the celebrities, which is just a load of fun too.
By the way, Dan, I need to know if you get to the North Carolina, Virginia area for a book signing or con or anything. I need to get my book autographed.
Yes, Chris, I sent Chris a copy of the Star Trek book, my 11th Fleet.
Yeah.
And I neglected to sign his. I feel bad.
Uh-oh.
I was rushed. I was rushing myself. My fault. It's all my fault. And yes, I'm going to start looking around places to see what I want. I love North Carolina. I go there quite often. In fact, I should be going there next year for a big convention that's not book signing. It's for my music fraternity. But so I'm going to have to plan that. Look at what I can find.
If people dress up as one of your characters, do you consider that infringement? What are your thoughts?
Nope. There's actually a term for it, creative license, that where people can, it's like I could do artwork of Pokemon and as fan art and sell it. And as long as I don't make so much money off of it, the Pokemon Company can't say anything because I have a creative license to do that. There is a public level of being able to do things as long as it's creative. And cosplay is one of those that you can do that. Nobody can sue you for cosplaying. Even if your cosplay is, how should I put it, offensive. I've seen some where they take something that's like supposed to be innocuous, cute, fun, and they turn it into something, pardon the term, but slutty or just outright filthy. And that's not, it may be offensive to the creator, it may be offensive to other people, but you still have the right to do it.
Mm.
As long as you're not breaking laws. I have actually been to conventions where people have dressed up and they're pretty much naked, and the convention's like, no, you can't do that. So, but if people were to dress up as characters from my books, I wouldn't be offended. I would be flattered.
Mm.
I find that it would show they have an interest in the character, because cosplaying, and if whether you know this or not, cosplay is a very high form of flattery, because it shows how much you're invested into the character that you're following.
Those are fans. Those are big fans. Yeah.
Most people are not. Most people don't just cosplay for the fun of just making a costume. They do so because they love that story, that universe, that character. So if someone came up to me dressed as one of my characters, I would be very much flattered, because that shows that what I've written has impacted them enough that they want to become the character, at least dress up like them.
Mm. Good question, Pat, by the way. Mark Allen, welcome.
Hello, Mark.
A little late to the party, but that's okay. Welcome anyways.
Fortunately, as I say on my show, and it's true on this one, you can always watch the recording. And
That's
you're going to watch the part, because I did a read through of the first part of Chapter 1 for Earth/Starfleet. So Chris asks, considering what Nick and life has put you through this past month, I don't blame you for having overlooked that detail. Thank you. It's been nuts. I don't. Can you see that? No, not good. I got to send an email or a message from Chris Evans. He decided to do our logo of the Brian Dan Hour, except he turned the dragon blue.
Oh, well, I apologize. Look, I raced to make this logo, and I didn't think. I was trying to remember what color dragon I could have used. I mean, I could have used the red, the orange there from your book, or the blue, or the green. And I went with the green with the silver. I kind of liked it. So, because I changed it. But, yeah,
I like this. I want to put it on a shirt to wear.
Believe it or not, technically, this is it doesn't move here, but technically it is a clip. He flaps his wings and does something. It's like, a brief second of a picture or whatever. So I can make it into a video and post it on Facebook or something like that. But I turned it into a picture. But yeah, Patrick, I was down to the wire when I made this.
Well, it looks great. It really does.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, Chris has a point. And he remembered this, which I'm actually quite impressed that he remembered. I've mentioned this. I love blue dragons. And there's a bit of a history behind that, because back years ago, I was part of an Okinawan dance and martial arts school that's called the Miyagi-Ryu no Shokai. And they gave me a name, and the name was Ashinaga, which literally just means long legs, because I'm so tall compared to them, and Kyuru, which means blue dragon. And that's because I was the biggest guy there. And when you go events, I was the one who was kind of keeping them safe. So I was the big blue dragon. And ever since then, I've collected blue dragons. I've got all kinds of blue dragons, little figurines and stuff. So he's got the point there. But green dragon looks great, too. That's awesome. It's fantasy, which works perfect for me, because I have a few dragons in stuff I write.
Right.
In fact, in my book, I am a blue dragon. In the Winter Wizard Chronicles, the Dan character is a big blue ice dragon.
Yeah. So I will change it, Chris. I can always change the color and see what it looks like blue. I didn't even think to use blue, and blue is my favorite color. So, okay. Another question from my aunt asks, have you ever had people dress up as your characters?
Only off the top of my head, once I can think of. I had someone come to the Chattanooga, which is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had a person come dressed from the Dragon One series. They were dressed as Marcus, the main character, which is really easy because he's a human wizard kid. So but my wizards, my characters dress. The outfits are more okay, high fantasy. So Lord of the Rings, you know, very simple leathers and rough woven fabrics and all. So he did a pretty good job. So I've seen that. I had that at least once. You don't honestly find, except for like the super mega famous, like see here, Brandon Sanderson or J.K. Rowling. You don't find a lot of authors who have people who dress up as their characters unless the book has also been turned into a TV show or a movie, a comic book, because people don't visualize it in the same way. It's
Right.
easy to replicate something that's on a screen or already in a picture. But
Yeah.
when you're having to create it, you don't want to walk around going, well, this is how I see them from the book. Because your view of a character that hasn't been expressly created in a picture or on screen is still slanted to your imagination.
Mm.
Such as if I called it, and I described Ryan's character in several books as redheaded. Well, my brother is also redheaded, but his red hair is fiery red. You know, yours is strawberry blonde red, from what I can see. So if I describe that, your brain's going to interpret it according to what you think that means.
Mm.
Whereas you get a picture of someone from Game of Thrones. Well, they've had the whole series. You can pull that right offline, and there you got the character. So
Absolutely. And thanks for that. It is mixed with white and gray, but yeah. Yeah, it used to be fiery red. I used to be a basketball, pretty much. Believe it or not, but yeah, it's changed over the years. So I sent him an X stitch I made of a blue dragon.
I had that. Oh, I had that. Yes, he did. I'm looking here. I actually.
Fiery red, guys. You can tell that I was in the sun today. Holy cow!
Oh yeah.
Wow, is that red? I was washing and waxing my new car. Ugh.
You got
Yep,
another new car?
I did. I did. Yeah, it was time for a new car.
What kind of car did you get?
I got the 21 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy edition. So yeah, it's a 7-passenger like boat, but it's a very, very, very nice car, and I love my car. It's well worth it, and I waited a long time because there's this shortage with cars, so now used cars are in high demand. So, but yeah, because of that whole processing chip shortage or something, so
Yeah.
it was crazy. So yeah, and now I hear that there's going to be another chain shortage, folks. It's coming. My store, we order money and it gets delivered in a whatever you want to call it, Brinks truck. So they're now sending us extra change because there's supposed to be another change shortage or some crap. So stuff's getting real because nobody wants to go back to work, right?
Yeah.
So now we have all these shortages. All right, Ashley, too many buttons. Just kidding. It's so nice. Yes, it is. My sister also got her first new car. So yeah, my aunt got a new car. So everyone's getting a new car.
So I'm behind the game here. I don't have a new car.
Yeah, it was time. Chris Evans, that's not gray hair. That's wisdom highlights. Oh, I like that one, Chris. Very nice. I'm going to have to steal that. Very nice. Wisdom highlights. I like that.
My red hair came down here. I grew up with blonde hair, and it's actually gotten darker and more reddish as I've gotten older. But I always had a bright red beard, and I still do. And I have people to this day who say, "Why do you color your beard?" I don't. This is genetics right here.
Yeah, yeah, it does happen. Absolutely. I just wish that I didn't have the pale skin because I wouldn't burn like this. Because
Yeah.
my god, I can't
I
stand
respect
it.
that too. I can't get a tan. I can just get roasted.
Absolutely. Let's see, Ashley. I'm gonna have to steal that one also. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. So, what else have you been working on? Anything else besides? Well, I know the game kind of consumes
Oh, it does.
most of your time.
I don't get to write as much as I'd like to because I write so much for the game. And so it's funny. I'm not getting to write because I'm writing.
Right.
But the thing is, I enjoy it. I really do enjoy the writing. So the game gives me a chance to have something. Um, the one thing I don't like, and I wish I could work out better, is that I write the story for the game, and usually I write it, and within a week or two, it's already being put out there, published in the game, which is great. That my stuff's getting published and read and put out there really quick, but it means I'm not getting a lot of cleanup time on it. I get to edit the stories, which I do. I give it as much edit as I can to make sure it's clean, looks good, but to truly manage it into something that's up to quality that I would want to have like published on a shelf, it's nowhere near that. And so I tell people I work for an online game, I write their story, but I tell them if you want to read my actual writing, read my books. This is kind of halfway there.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, I spent a lot of time over the past few months working on that owl-headed wand story. That's been my focus because I've put a lot of money and time into prepping that one, and it has such a good response from the early editors that I want to really promote that one to a bigger publisher. I mean, I love my publishers, Ambassador for my Christian books and Cosby Media for everything else. They've been fun publishers. They've been great to work with. But when you have someone who works for and is recommending you send to your book that's something a place like Scholastic or Penguin, that's huge. So as I said, I love my publishers. Nothing against them. It's just that they can't go toe to toe with a giant publisher like that. So if I have an opportunity, I'm going to grab it. But that means work.
Yeah, I'm so happy that these writing challenges that we did, just to do, is turning out to be something fantastic. I didn't think that it would kind of just keep going and end up this way. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the Owl-Headed Wand wouldn't exist if I hadn't written the Winter Wizard Chronicles, because the world I built in there is what I used to construct the Owl-Headed Wand. And I thought it's funny, before I'm not trying to like put a bunch of praise on me here, but when I first started working with you here, and before I wrote any of the stories, you were put in books. You and Sherry were put in books as cameos.
Yeah.
And I did it a few times too. But now your Earth's Last Starship, hundreds and hundreds of people have listened to it. More than that have read it. So now you as a character is a real science fiction hero in the people's eyes of who like sci-fi. So, and again, I'm not trying to say yay me. I'm just saying, that's fun. That's great. I love being able to do that for somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward. I hope the sequel has the same kind of response and better. I hope it encourages more people to read it, because I think it's a fun story.
Absolutely. I love science fiction. So the real Brian likes science fiction as well. So yeah, I don't think it would have been very good. I don't think I would have been able to relate if I didn't like science fiction, I guess, and I was written into a science fiction book. So
yeah, I came across that. The guy who's helping me, he's reading the Winter Wizard Chronicles to try and turn it into a audiobook.
yeah.
And he's doing it free. He's doing it to practice, to learn how to do audiobooks as maybe something he can do freelance on his own in his spare time. But the thing is, I'm talking to him. I'm like, okay, how are you doing? Are you enjoying this? Are you working on it? He goes, well, I don't read fiction books, let alone fantasy. So he's not getting into it. He's struggling with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's really why. And I tell new authors this too. When you're trying to find editors, audiobook readers, stuff like that, find people who enjoy your genre, because they will do a good job, because inherently they like what they're doing. Whereas if you find somebody who only reads romance novels, or they only read horror, and you're handing them something that's completely outside of their norm, they're going to struggle with it, and you're going to tell it's going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, he's doing an okay job on it. I'm enjoying that he's trying, but it may not make it as the audiobook, simply because it just doesn't flow like it should.
Right. I'm pretty sure you'll get it. It'll get done.
Mm-hmm. If he
I
can't,
mean, you haven't given up, right?
well, if he can't really make it work, there are some ways, and it'll cost, but ways I can hire people to do an audiobook.
Right.
So I'll have to look that direction, because I really do. I want to turn it into an audiobook, because audiobooks have a large, growing market. There's no reason not to try and tap it.
Now, will you do the same thing, obviously, for Earth's Last Starfleet? And try
Actually,
to get that?
since Braxton's already told me that I need to send it to him because they're going to publish it, Cosby will do that, and they'll probably send it to the same guy who did the first one.
Oh, even better. Yeah, I liked that guy as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, the Winter Wizard Chronicles is self-published, so it's all on me to take care of all these kind of details. When that's one of the great things about having a publisher, is they take care of those kind of details for you.
Right. I'm so happy he picked this one up. So it was very smart. I sent him messages and everything. So, I did hound him about, this book. So if he does another one, I'm telling you, you're not very smart if you don't pick it up. Publish it.
He loved the first one, so he's excited about this. So
Yeah.
I need to hound him this time. I'm going
Nope.
to bring it off to him soon.
Yeah, no, I don't have to hound him or anything. I just have to thank him. Thank him for, publishing it. I'm so glad he liked the first one. If you didn't like the first one, and if you haven't even read it, folks, you need to read the book.
Yes, you do.
Even if you don't really care for science fiction, give it a try. Just read it. It's fun. It's exciting. There's like different characters throughout the whole book. You may even be one of the characters in the book, and you just don't even know it yet.
It's an episodic sci-fi, and in this book, it's character-driven, which people who don't like, or not commonly fond of something like sci-fi and fantasy, they're more likely to enjoy a character-driven narrative as adverse to a world-driven. And this is character-driven. The story is about the characters following their story, following what's happening to them. It's not so much just about science fiction, So yeah, give it a shot. Get it out there. Let people know about it.
Yeah. What did Chris say? Brian sent you the altered logo in Messenger. Chris, I didn't receive anything from you. Not yet, anyways. But yeah. Anything that you're looking forward to during the week before we talk again? Is anything exciting happening for you?
Over this next week, I think this week I get to relax a little. Although,
there you go.
We're going to hopefully make a trip out to Frankenmuth, Michigan. And
never heard of it. Okay.
Yeah, most people haven't unless you live in the area or unless you're a big Christmas fan. Frankenmuth, Michigan is a small little town. It's kind of, when Michiganders tell you where something is, they hold up their hand and point. Okay, Frankenmuth, Michigan, here's the stuff, is right about there in the state of Michigan. It's halfway up. It's a little German town, really Dutch, settled 200 years ago. But about 100 years ago, a family called Bronners put together a Christmas store. And it's now, I'm not kidding, the largest Christmas store in the world. It's massive. And that brings a lot of people. They got all kinds of great locations there, great restaurants. And there's a restaurant we go to called Zinder's. And I'm going to promote that because there's only one in the world right there. And it's, oh my gosh, the food is the best. And it's worth going to. And they celebrate people's birthdays. This month was my mother's birthday, so we're going to go there. And they have a big Tanger outlet mall, they have an outlet mall there with all kinds of fun stuff. And because it's European Dutch. They have like a store with kilts. They have a store with old world leather. They have a metalsmith shop. I mean, this place is just a fun little place to go to. It's like going to Gatlinburg without the massive tourism all around it. You go driving into town, tourist central. You drive out of town, you're in farming territory. But it's beautiful. I recommend people to go see it. And I'm hoping we're going to take a trip this weekend up there because, again, celebrate Mom's birthday and just a little town. Get away from here. I've been writing, working, arting. Ugh, I'm ready to just let it all go for an afternoon and eat really good food.
I hear you. I'm not doing anything exciting this week. I just wanted to see what you were up to. I have to work. That's all I'm doing. But my vacation, I'm taking 4 days, but that's not until the end of July. So I'm going to be taking 4 days. So I believe one of my shows, our show, I should say, that Thursday, I will be in Cape Cod. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll still do a show because the last time I was out there was a show that with Sherry and I, but I did do it from pretty much the hotel where I was staying, so it was pretty cool. So I'm going to do that again. Yeah,
that'd be fun. Yeah, I want to next time we get to go to, or I get to go to at least the Comic-Con. I want to grab a camera, bring it with me, and do a recording. Because often these Comic-Cons are on the weekends, so it's not during our showtime. But go around and maybe do a couple recordings, interview some of the celebrities, talk to some of the fans, show people around the Comic-Con as part of the show. And so we can have a bit of a recording on one of these shows of me doing that. Or if you're with me, we can do it together.
Do what together? Oh, in October?
Yeah, in October. Yeah, grab a GoPro, get a camera, and go around and do a Comic-Con news recording. People do it all the time. These Comic-Cons, I'm constantly approached by people who are small-time podcasters, bloggers. Some of them are big-time, and they just they'll come up at the beginning of the convention and go, "Here's my card. I'll be coming by. Do you want to do an interview?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, as long as I'm not busy." And they'll come by, sit at my table, ask my books, ask about what I do, talk to me, and then they move on to the next person. And they do it all the time. So I thought, why not me? Go out there and meet some people, have some fun. And the great thing is, since I am one of the guests at these things, I get to go in before it starts. I might be able to go to some of the celebrities that are there and go, "Hey, you want to have a few minutes of an interview?" Most will say no, but I'll give it a shot anyways.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if it's like a couple of minutes, just talking about why they're there and how they are and whatever little information you can get out of them. So, yeah, I've never been to one. I want to go to one. I really do. I really do want to go to one. So,
and you can be a celebrity. You are the Brian Shepard from the book.
That is true. You can come out and meet me. Oh my God. Yeah. I should have figurines made or something.
There are people who do that now. They do that. You can go to Etsy and they'll make you these figurines of characters from your books and all.
Really?
Yep. Because my publisher, we're talking about doing the comic books for the Bark series and at the conventions. They want to help promote it by getting some figures made on these Etsy shops. They're 3D printed. They get someone who's smart and can do a 3D printing rendering of the character, and they do a little figurine for it that you can buy. And I don't know how much it is. I gotta find out how much to do that. But even if I just buy a couple to stand there to show off, I think that would be awesome.
I think I'm going to have to look that up because I love Etsy. I used to order from them all the time when we were wearing masks, but now I don't even need a mask anymore. So I haven't gone on Etsy, but I did not know that. I'm going to have to look into this.
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Chris, I apologize. I didn't realize you meant Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, people. So he just put it in there. Brian Shepard 4. That's the Instagram for the show. Well, for me, anyways. Excuse me. He sent me the picture of the blue dragon. So I did get it. So thank you. So what I'll do is I'll save that picture and I will use that the next show. I'll change the dragon blue. So there you go, Chris. So yeah. All right. Well, I suppose it is after 10 o'clock, so we'll go. I know we have to wait another week, but
I'm on tomorrow night.
oh, see, I got to go another week. So unfortunately, to where I can get my schedule so that maybe I could do a second show or something. I don't know. But I think Thursdays is working for me and this. So you asked about guests. I don't have any guests, unfortunately. I can't talk for some reason.
I know the feeling.
I'm getting dry. It's very warm in here, and I got my little fan here. I don't know if people can hear it. Oh, my fan. I'm so hot. But anyways, Sylvia Schultz. I know a lot of people have been asking for Sylvia Schultz. And you know who Sylvia Schultz is. So I'm hoping to send her a message tonight. Maybe she will come on in the near future and talk with us. I think it would be very interesting to have you guys talk and be face to face.
Yeah.
So I think so, because you don't write really paranormal stuff. So, and to speak with her, I think that's going to be fantastic. And the other thing that somehow I need to figure this out, maybe you have some ideas. I still want to do that Star Trek Star Science Fiction panel with people. So I need to get people back on that I had spoken to before joining with you, the guests that I had. So yeah, I have some ideas. We just need to put into action, I think. So yeah. All right. Well, good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, follow Dan on Facebook, follow me or the show, whatever. Don't forget to like and share it. If you're on YouTube, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that way you know anytime that Dan and I go live every Thursday. And we'll be back to our normal time, 8 o'clock next week. So, and don't forget to watch Dan tomorrow night starting at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
I'll be on tomorrow night at 9. Of course, I'll be the next chapter of my Joshua of Egypt story. If you haven't been following, you can go back and watch the recordings from the last 2 shows. That'll catch you up to date. And we'll also just be chatting and having fun.
All right. There you go. So, all right. We'll catch everyone next time. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.